Mikey and Rinne stay in. Oh yeah.
Feel free to put your feet up here too.
Here, let's do something. Let's go like this in the middle with our hands and just hold it for a second.
Looks like I'm fist someone here.
Yeah, that's it. Perfect.
Fist it felt very
That's a perfect way to start.
Fistious.
Ooh, there you go. A festival.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hi everybody. Welcome to Mikey and Rinne Stay In. I'm Mikey.
And I'm Rinne.
And today we are at episode 31. Dirty 31.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that
Wow.
amazing? I know. And we have a very special guest with us. This is our friend Carrie.
Hello.
How are you?
Great.
That's great. Carrie is she's my like BFF right now, and this is our
mixtapes.
I like that you said right now.
Yeah.
well,
I feel like I vibe with that because you've got your flavor of the month. We've been flavors of the month for like a good solid, I don't know, six
months maybe. Yeah, I think we declared our BFF love maybe 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And then it's like the fire, the embers are burning.
Yeah.
They're cooking along, which I think is good because I think once the initial like that kind of new relationship energy kind of maybe dies out, sometimes it's like, ooh, it was kind of just that like initial flame that I wanted, but our it's smoldering.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
This is meant to be.
Yeah, that's great. I was just
check back in 6 months. We'll see.
Check back in after this interview. You might be like, he's a fucking lunatic. I don't like him at all. But yeah, we've been homies, and we had mutual friends that introduced us at first. Mm-hmm. And why don't you tell us a little bit about you? Just like what you want the people to know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I am female. You know, it's funny.
And woman, hear me roar.
I've been filling out a bunch of bios. I own my own business in Portland. I own a marketing agency called Good and Gold Marketing. Little plug there.
Yeah. Is it goodandgold.com?
Yeah, it is.
Goodandgold.com. Get your dicks over there.
Yeah.
And pussies.
And it's so funny when you fill out the bios and you like instantly want to go to like what you have done in your career. And I feel like that's a thing that we kind of need to get away from a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, when someone says, "Tell me a little bit about yourself," and it's like that's the first thing we go into.
Is career.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
I kind of feel like that's such a American thing to do. Not that I know of any other cultures that do it another way, but I just feel like that's the first line. Anyway, so yes, I am female. I am a lesbian.
Congratulations.
I am married to a wonderful and beautiful woman named Rachel. I am 39. I have a little boy named Augustus James Ritchie, who's 2.
I don't think I knew his full name.
Yep, that's his
That's
name.
a strong name.
It's a really strong name. It's
really
like presidential even.
Yeah.
or he's going to be a novelist.
Yep.
Yes.
These are the things you talk about when you go through naming.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, who is he? Like a rock star? Like I had, for a minute, it's like, do we want to name him Ace? Like that's such a badass name.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna be a total douchebag.
Yeah.
Right?
Cult leader. Something's going to
start to just fit your name.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
right. Yeah. That guy, Ace, doesn't know much about consent.
Yeah.
No.
That's true.
Totally.
Yeah. And he's not trying to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else? My favorite color is yellow.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's a strong favorite color. That's not a frequent favorite color. I don't
It's
feel
not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's my mom's favorite color too.
Particular shade of yellow?
Yeah, that's a good question. I could tell you the shades it's not.
No, yeah, okay.
You know, like
Okay.
it's not like kind of a cream yellow.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not like a nacho cheese yellow.
Oh, yeah. How about like a goldenrod?
Goldenrod's great. In fact, that's Good and Gold's color.
I was gonna say, I felt like that is right in here. Cool. Yeah, it's a fun color. Yeah.
Another thing about myself, I'm kind of like a truth serum person, which I think is great at first to people, and is hard. It's a hard thing to deal with on a daily basis. Like if you're an employee of mine.
How so? Give us an example.
Like a designer will come to me and say, "Hey, do you like this?" And I will say, "No,
Oh,
I don't."
great.
Yeah.
And it's constructive. It's like, I don't like this because of this, this, and this. And
Right.
what about this?
Mm.
But I just can't pussyfoot around stuff.
Mhm.
I feel like I turn into like the Hulk or something. I have like this thing happens where it's like if I try to like withhold truth, I physically feel the repercussions.
Ah.
Okay.
Or Rachel will say, "Do you like my outfit?" And we like have to go.
Right.
And I'm like,
Don't say yeah. Maybe I have to be truthful, but maybe not. Maybe I just
so
won't.
now she knows to like ask me well before we leave.
Oh,
the
smart. That's a
house.
good
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
those are some of the things.
Yeah. I like truthiness though.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I mean, I feel like I have people pleasing parts of my personality for sure where, I don't know, I feel like I'm pretty truthful with people about if they ask me for an opinion about something.
Yeah.
But I do give people what they want to hear, like when it's, that's kind of the name, that's
I
my
kind of do
brand.
a little sandwich maneuver just because I know that I have to like insert the truth. So
Right.
I'll be like,
Chip
you know what?
sandwich. Yeah.
I can see why you picked that outfit, and like this definitely brings out your eyes.
Yeah.
But like it's not pulling together. Like these colors don't work together. But I do think that you made some good decisions here.
Yeah.
That was so diplomatic.
You're a good person.
Yeah.
Even if this is not a good outfit, you're a good partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good way to go.
I like it.
Those are my things. I would say a couple other pieces. I have dual citizenship. I'm part Canadian. And I feel like that parlays with the final me thing I will share, which is I really value comedy. In fact, we were talking about doing an improv class, which could be a thing.
This is on the record now, so you can't back out.
I'm
We have to do
I'm
it.
saying talked about it.
No, you said we agreed and signed a document saying that we're both going to do it together.
You know, I do think that you should push me over the edge on this. Like, I had a friend telling me that he's doing the thing where he always has to say yes.
Yeah.
He can't say no to things.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, cool, that's cool for
Right.
you. And I've been thinking more about it. It's like, actually that there is something in there that I think is just really valuable in terms of personal growth. Like, it doesn't mean you have to say yes. I mean, like, you don't have to say yes to having sex with someone.
No. I was going to say the always
Preferably
saying,
not, yeah.
The always saying yes thing has boundaries.
Yeah,
For sure.
definitely.
But it's like, at least entertaining them.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So let's do it.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yes.
It starts like first week in February. We should look into it after we're done recording.
Yeah.
I think it's $450.
We're both going to Palm Springs at the same time, so keep that in mind.
Which might be one of the... Anyways, but there's 7
Yeah.
classes, and I feel like... Whatever, dude. We might have to miss one. I'm going to have to be like, probably miss 1 or 2. It's like, I just think it's more about doing it.
Yeah.
And then there's a big, like, in March, there's the big, like, graduation thing. So you perform at Helium in front of a packed house.
Yeah, my
Woo.
friend,
Fun.
a really good friend of mine is Caitlin Weyerhaeuser.
Yeah.
Look her up. She was on Colbert last week, and she was talking me into doing it, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And
Had
then it
she
was like
done
when
it?
I was like reading the whole thing, and
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna perform, and I was like, I'm out.
Had she done this one?
Yeah.
Oh, she did.
And she's like a big time comedian.
Dude, I think you said that the other night. I know, that's awesome.
This is the jump off
I
right
know,
here.
this is the jump
Yeah.
off. We could both...
This could be a game changer.
We might have a Siamese twins act. We might have something where it's like us together.
Yeah.
Who's on first?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
boy.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I guess the last thing I'll share with you guys, just for the why am I here, is I've been trying to get pregnant for a year and a half.
Yep.
So I've been on that road. We started trying shortly after our son was born.
Okay.
Still trying.
Yeah.
Trying on Wednesday again. So stuff.
Yeah,
that's
we want to hear
happening.
all about that.
yeah.
So pull your microphone just close to you. I just want to make sure that we're getting all of your juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
And why don't you start us maybe from the reproductive beginning? So tell us how you first became a mama, and then let's go from there.
Okay. So how are you talking about like the beginning of us trying, or from
Yeah.
when Gus was born?
Yeah. Wherever you wanna go with it.
Okay. So Rachel and I both knew that we wanted to have kids. Our ideal situation, I think that you would hear this. I don't know. I feel like kind of a lot of lesbian couples feel this way, but maybe it's just lesbian couples that don't have kind of a top and bottom role necessarily.
Right. Yeah, sure.
Right? So, with us, we both wanted to carry and have the experience of being pregnant and giving birth and, the excitement of having a genetic being
Sure.
tie there. So that is a thing. And I tried first, but it was during a time when I was publisher at Portland Monthly. I was very stressed out, and I was like, "There's nothing that's going to live inside my body. This is not going to happen."
And nothing's gonna. I'm not gonna have anything except for an anxiety, baby.
Yeah, totally. And so we decided it would be good for Rachel to try. And she had 3 goes at it. For her, it was really simple because she wasn't a geriatric, potential mom. Right? She was like of good birthing age. And she tried. Everything was normal.
Yeah.
No issues, nothing at all.
And this was 3 rounds of IUI?
Yes.
Okay, and then was that with, I don't know if we're going to say names on, do we want to say business names?
No.
Yeah, so with the people that you're working with now?
No.
Okay. With another group?
It was with a very large fertility clinic in Portland.
We know who that is.
Yeah.
Totally.
And so everything was fine with her. She went into labor, was in labor for, a few hours.
Oh, yeah.
And gave birth in 20 minutes.
Damn!
A very healthy baby.
Right.
And so
hashtag birth goals, huh?
all of the potential or, mothers out there, plug your ears because that's just an annoying thing.
Oh my God, right?
And so the family joke
Sets
is
the bar pretty fucking high.
when and if I get pregnant, it's going to be like 100 hours of labor and
Totally.
Yeah.
Did she have Gus in hospital?
She did.
Yeah.
And that was always the plan. So she kind of wanted to go a little bit more of a traditional route. I mean, I would say you could split us into, Rachel's a little bit more of a traditional person. I'm a little bit more woo-woo.
Right.
And so for me, when I get pregnant, we'll probably use a midwife and we'll go a little bit of a different route.
Cool.
The placenta, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Nice. So,
Mikey will come cook it for you.
I can.
Yeah.
I've done it before. It's fun. Yeah.
I've heard stories that this sounds really hard.
It's kind of a lot.
So anyway, had Gus. Everything was, great, perfect, and safe.
Cool.
And, that was me entering mommyhood. And as I kind of shared with you all, it was a really surreal experience the parent that wasn't the birth parent and also a female.
Right.
And I don't know, I have brothers who have kids, and I don't think that it's the same. I think you have a maternal instinct, and it feels like something's missing, and it's just like, I have a really good friend, we have a mutual friend, Janny, who kind of prepped me for some of this stuff, which is like, you have to kind of work and figure out what your role is there. I mean, I think that that's something that didn't totally come natural to me, and I think I had a little bit of an anxiety piece about being a parent, and then also kind of an identity crisis for a couple of years until probably I would say a few months ago, and it just really, all of a sudden, my relationship with my son really kind of clicked, and we have our own thing going on.
Cool.
And I realized having time with him by myself without my wife around was really helpful, and we didn't take as much of that time at the beginning.
Yeah.
It was just like she was around all the time, and so I think that's some advice that I would have for new parents is give each other solo time with your baby and with your kid. Like that, there's a bond there that needs to happen that kind of can only happen on one-on-one time, I think.
Totally. Well, and it feels like there's so many couples that we know, same-sex couples and not, and where it's like, there is an understanding that, like, yes, for obvious reasons, the person who birthed that baby needs to be, like, more attached to them at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is just a thing.
Right.
But how important that is for both parents to really have this, like, skin-to-skin contact and an actual kind of, like, growing time together without the other parent necessarily.
Yeah.
And I wonder, I always have thought that was so interesting to think about, like, that, like, we used to joke that, like, Rinne would get around babies and her ovaries would start vibrating, you know? And I would joke that my ovaries would start vibrating. But, like, there isn't, I mean, I think that trying to have a baby has really shown to me that it's taught me so many things about the human anatomy and the human body and about women. But it really has shown me in so many ways how different men and women function just as a human. You know, like, men are like, you know, we're always loaded up for spreading our seed, and it's just like at all times, men are just kind of these dumb sperm vessels, right? And like women's bodies are these complex elements that are like, there's a lot of, you know, there's so many things that you have to think about. And I think that all dials in how your body reacts and how your brain reacts to having a child, I would imagine.
Yeah.
You know? And like you're saying, the reaction that you had around Gus, I don't know if men, I mean, I think there's elements of that for men, but it can't be the same.
Yeah.
Because it's just,
Well,
we don't
and
serve
I
the same
think
function.
you as the supporting parent,
Yeah.
you know, your role naturally is going to be, I'm going to take care of all of the other shit in the household.
Right.
Because I know that you two need to bond and you need to take care of the baby in a way that I can't.
Yeah.
And so then that kind of starts to be a little bit of a divide where it's like, am I like the, like, you know,
Housekeeper?
hired help?
Yeah, right.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you know, I'm making dinner and doing all the cooking and shopping and the whole thing. And it's like, you know, I just think that phase, working through that phase and striking a balance is kind of challenging.
Yeah.
And, you know, so much relief comes when you figure it out. And it's just like, okay, we are a family and this is how we operate. And our kid has individual relationships with us. And,
Right.
you know,
Right.
yeah.
That's really cool and so different and interesting. I mean, it's like, you discussed our previous guest, Janet, her friend, and she talked a lot about that like, you know, she was the mother to 3 children that were biologically not her children.
Yeah.
And so she was like, it's just an interesting thing. There's this kind of natural bond that she felt like they had with her wife, but she was like, we fucking sorted it out.
Yeah.
Like we just had to kind of think about it a little bit more, but once it happened, it was like deep and really committed and wonderful.
Man, I had this experience with Gus, I think it was probably like a month ago. So a time where that really starts to surface is like if a kid is exhausted or they get hurt or they have
Who
like
they go to.
a big need with big feelings always goes to the like, you know, birth parent.
Yeah.
And there was this situation like a month ago, which I can't remember what happened, and you know, both Rachel and I were standing there at the ready, and Gus came to me, and I was just like, you know, oh my God, I can do anything.
And he's coming to you because he's crying and you're like weeping and snotting. Oh, I love you. God, I'm gonna be a fucking mess.
Best moment of my life.
Tell us about how, if at all, your relationship with Gus has changed as you've sort of been on your fertility journey.
Yeah, you know, I mean, this is where I get a little woo-woo-y. You know, I personally feel like having a really good relationship with him and having that good energy around, that baby energy, that like maternal energy it's the energy I want to bring into this process. And so I think when I get caught up in my own shit, in my own head of like, where do I belong here? You know, which still kind of surfaces from time to time.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to go to Gus and lean on him and spend time with him and kind of like get that good childlike energy around, you know. We've also just started having conversations about, because he's really started to understand that he has 2 moms now. This is like a new thing.
Yeah.
Before it was so sad because we'd pick him up from daycare and he'd say, "Where's my daddy?" You know,
Oh,
because
yeah.
they're like some daddies would come and pick their kids up. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And it was just like, well, you don't have a daddy, and he would get sad because it's like he felt like he didn't have a thing. He didn't
Right.
really know. He didn't make the connection. He just felt like,
Right.
oh, I don't have this really important thing in my life.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's the standard image that most of the kids are seeing is
Sure.
mom and dad, and it's
Yeah.
like still, it's amazing that that's still such a thing.
Yeah.
Do you have that book? I think it's a Portland author, but it's
Yeah.
fucking rad. I'll show it to you. It's like, it's just
remember
like,
the name of
I
it
can't
now.
remember either. Yeah, but it's like kind of all the different parenting
Yeah.
combos.
No,
It's
we do have that book.
Yeah.
And why I can't.
And they're kind of color, they're like purpley people
Yeah,
that are
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of like, non-gendered. Anyways, it's super cool.
Gosh, I can't remember what it's
Yeah.
called. But, yeah, so he's now realized that he has 2 mommies and he feels really lucky about it. And,
Yeah.
You know, it's been super great. And, you know, so now we've started to talk to him about the fact that, you know, we're trying to have another kid.
Yeah.
And, you know, would you like a baby brother or sister? And so he has like a baby and he like
Oh,
walks
cool.
around and takes care
So
of the
he's
baby.
excited by the idea.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and he's fascinated about baby. Or, you know, like whenever we see a baby, he's like, all excited. He like stands very still and like walks very slowly
Yeah.
to you know
Wow.
a baby.
Cool.
How intuitive
I
to
know.
like know that, you know, maybe you don't want to make sudden movements and you want to be gentle and
Yeah,
You gotta bring the energy down a little bit.
yeah.
totally,
Cool.
totally.
Okay.
Wow.
So tell us about, so when did you start trying for a baby after Gus? You said it was pretty quickly afterwards.
Yeah, so it was, I guess it would have been August 2018.
Okay.
We had him in August 2017.
Mhm. Okay.
Right? So, you know, we've been trying for a year and a half, but I will say we've done a fair amount of traveling, and it's been really tricky because a lot of the travel we haven't picked. It's been for weddings or for this or that.
Sure.
And it has happened to be right when I'm ovulating.
Of course, yeah.
And we can't take our show on the road. You know? So while it sounds like we've been trying for a really long time, and I would say that we were actually just talking about this the other night, this has been the most trying part, which is like it on paper I've been trying for a year and a half, but I've only tried, you know, like 8 times.
Right, okay.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
And so for me, it's been difficult because through that period, it's like, well, I'm not drinking and I'm eating like warm foods and I'm eating all these specific things and I'm treating my body in a very specific way, which is healthy and great.
Of course.
But
also a gigantic pain in the ass sometimes. So like,
and I'm
preach.
like spending hundreds of dollars on vitamins and supplements, and it's like, cool, we're doing an acupuncture, and it's just like we're shelling out all this dough, and then it's like, oh, well, our wedding's on this date, and it's like,
Fuck
I
you.
can't stop my regimen because then we're gonna come back and I need to keep doing it.
Sure.
So,
Right.
I know we've had a couple of those for sure. I mean, and we can take our show on the road, but we've had a couple where I've had to be out of town for work.
Right.
Oh, you actually came to New York with me
That's
for work because she was going to be ovulating. And I was like, fuck it, road trip. But it is. It's like, yeah, it's hard because you have to plan your life around it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're trying to be really smart about it. We whipped out the calendar at the beginning of the year because we're kind of like at a place where, and this is tricky, we're at a place where we have a certain amount of vials left, which I can kind of get into in a minute because we have a whole vial of sperm story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's kind of like how many tries do I have left before I pass the baton? Because as I'm sure you know, someone who has had a successful pregnancy, they are significantly more likely to get pregnant again.
Totally.
So on top of the fact that Rachel just had an easy pregnancy, she is now even more likely to get pregnant.
Right.
So there comes a point where it's like, you know, let's just be done with this process and let's move on. And I think that if that time comes, I think that'll be difficult.
Yeah, sure.
So we're really hoping that we can have some luck here in the next few months. So.
But when you say that time comes along, would that mean she would try again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah. And, you know, my mom has been, you know, she's like, I'll pay for IVF and I'll do, you know, because both of us are like, we're not going to pay 20-something
Sure.
grand.
My mom said the same
blah,
thing.
blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the point where it's like, are we trying too hard for a thing that may not matter that much?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
this getting too much of a vanity thing? And so then you kind of get in this whole philosophical conversation about why are we doing this and what are our hopes and dreams?
Totally. Well, I
Yeah.
completely understand that. I mean, when we talk about the other options, we talk about adoption, or we talk about any of the things that we could do, and there is just this part of me that's like, God, I just really want to have our own kiddo,
Yeah.
and then IVF, and I think about IVF, and I think it kind of like let's just say, can we put the money aside? If you put the money aside, okay, it's still this unbelievable process, and God, what if that doesn't work? I don't know. I'm just like, ooh.
How do you feel if you're carrying IVF and and then you miscarry, and then it's just like, that's a real doozy,
right? And
my heart goes out to people who have gone down that road. That's just double whammy.
I mean, I've talked about it on the show before, but we've had a couple of these. There's a woman who we were maybe going to be on her podcast, and she was like, "Hey, fill out this kind of intro form of who you are and what your birth journey has been. This is what mine looks like." And so she gave a sample, and it was what she'd gone through, and it was unbelievable. I mean, 8 miscarriages, 3 or 4 IVF rounds of IVF, all with miscarriages, one with stillborn twins, I think. Whoa. And I'm we're talking about, we've had 1 miscarriage and we've been trying for a couple of years, and it's I don't know, there is no harder, there's just hard, right? I mean, so it's not worth comparing, but it's wow, I mean, I don't know if I have the skin for that.
Yeah.
Did you, when you started your fertility journey, did you sort of assume fertility and think, oh man, I'm gonna do these IUIs and get knocked up and it's gonna be great?
So that's a great question. With the big fertility clinic that will remain that I went to, I'm a geriatric patient.
Definitely. They love to give you those statistics.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's here's a graph and here's your percentage conceiving.
Yeah.
It's what are we fucking doing here?
Your wedge of the pie is the one with the cobwebs.
And then
Yes.
I mean, in my case, they literally said this. It was this is your percentage.
Yeah.
And Rachel, this is your percentage.
Yeah.
And it's just fuck off.
Thanks.
Man. We've had enough talks in our house about this. This is unnecessary. Anyway.
Yeah.
And so out of the gate, it was Clomid. Out of the gate, it was doing all these lab tests and, going to the Lake Oswego imaging.
Totally. Yep.
And doing the ink, whatever. I mean, everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then it was it wasn't just that in the first month. It's well, then every month you're going to be doing an ultrasound and all this stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
So, that was kind of day 1, and that was that was 6 months in.
Okay.
So my reaction to Clomid was awful. So anytime someone is on Clomid or their doctor is thinking about prescribing them, I will try to get in their ear and just be check it out and pay really close attention to how you respond month 1. Because I will tell you, the first time I took it, Rachel and I were out on a hike, and I had a full-blown panic attack. I thought I was going to throw up. I couldn't. I felt I was going to pass out right there. It was weird, and that should have been my first indicator. And I was God damn it! This is after watching my wife give birth. I was I can take these hormones.
I got it.
And
that is such an interesting social dynamic too, where it's interpersonally she crushed it.
Right.
Pressure's fucking on.
Yeah.
Pull it together, Carrie.
Totally.
Don't puke on this trail.
Oh my god. And so I did it every month for I think 5 months, and I was seeing an acupuncturist whom I totally love.
Yeah.
Annabelle Snow from North Portland.
She's amazing.
She's
totally
so
amazing.
great. And she was just listen, because I felt I was having panic attacks all the time. It just, everything was buzzing in my body.
Yeah.
And she's this just isn't right for you. You are not this is not the house that this baby wants to live in. You know, it's like trying to it's like trying to put someone to sleep like in a frat house or something.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's just like
too chaotic.
it's gotta be zen, it's gotta be chill, you've gotta feel great, and this is not the thing.
Yeah.
Did the fertility clinic put that together at all? Like, were you reporting to them, hey, I'm having panic attacks?
No,
and
they didn't ask, and it wasn't a thing. So that was one of the other things that she mentioned that I was kind of complaining to her. So I'm just like, I'm taking all these ultrasounds, I'm doing all these things, and I just feel like this is not my journey.
Yeah.
You know, like even if we had a successful pregnancy, because Rachel went the same route, and she was in and out, and it was quick.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
But I was on the journey for a lot longer, and I'm just like, this is not my journey, and I've got to like have a much more natural approach to this. I need to feel more like nourished and stable and good, and these aren't my peeps. You know?
Yeah.
So we took a month off after that, because I don't know if you probably know this, but you can only be on Clomid so long before it actually starts having negative effects on your
And there's a maximum amount that you can take kind of in your
6
lifetime or something, yeah. Or is it just maximum at a clip?
I don't know about the lifetime thing. I just know that I was at the end of the road anyway.
Yep.
So we took a month off, and we had a friend who was a guy friend of ours who was willing to help us with the sperm.
That's how you say that.
That was also very diplomatic.
That is the gayest delivery ever.
Help us with that sperm
He
stuff.
assisted us with the sleeping.
Man, I gotta tell you, taking those specimens from him was just like...
Still
Wait. Did he just like have them at your house? How did that work?
So he would come over. So he was in a relationship with a gal, and they both kind of signed on for it.
Yeah.
So the idea was, they would come to our house. They would get busy downstairs. We had a full like clinical like little cup, like a you know, like a donor cup.
Okay.
And so then he would hand it off to Rachel, and I'd be in bed ready, because you have a 20-minute window to get it back in something, you know. And so he would come over, but in all the cases, like, his girlfriend, for some reason or another, probably just because she's like, I don't want to do this, never showed up, and so he would just have to handle his business.
Right, okay.
And then he would hand the cup, and I would just get this waft of semen. It's like, it reminded me of my straight days.
You're just like, oh boy, it's like a fucking smelly, chlorine pool.
It's just such a specific
It's very
smell.
specific. We have a friend, Jamie, who, if she's listening, she'll really appreciate this story. She lived in this like fancy apartment building for a while. They had like this pool and all this fun stuff, and so we'd go over and have vodis for your body, which were these vodka drinks that she would make. And she had these medals.
Sounds so healthy when you say
body for your body.
That was the whole point. It was like, it's like a smoothie.
Yeah.
But she had these metal straws that we would use, and it would be sunny and hot out. And for whatever reason, when the sun would get the straw hot, it tasted
Little semeny.
exactly like semen.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's up with these cum straws?
Well,
It's specific.
speaking of cum straws,
Yes.
this is
We
a
are.
perfect segue. I haven't
Yes.
talked to you about this. Have I talked to you about the straws?
No.
But I
Okay.
really want you to.
Okay.
So,
The cum straws. It sounds like this is going to be like I saw the sweet punk band. They were called the cum straws.
So, when Rachel went through her process, we bought a bunch of sperm.
Okay.
We found a donor. Finding a donor is fun as fuck, by the way. It's a whole thing.
Because is it like you get to kind of just swipe right,
You're-
swipe left?
Yeah, it's like you're on Tinder
Right.
for your baby daddy.
Like pictures?
So you can, there's pictures, there's sound bites, there's like, get
awesome.
creative, and they like sing a song or draw a picture.
Get the
like,
fuck out of here.
It's like a whole thing. And
Wow.
so it's so fun
cool.
to like sit there with your partner and just like judge, like, nobody's judged before.
Yeah.
No. this isn't everything. But we found this perfect donor who's like all the things, like a woodworker and a musician and very smart and like an engineer and the whole thing, right? It's like great. So we bought as much sperm from him as we could before he went into quote unquote retirement.
Okay.
Right?
Wait,
like
when does that happen?
He gets snipped. He got snipped.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he had his own family. So the other thing is he did it for the right reasons. He had gay friends.
Oh,
and
yeah,
saw what the struggle was and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And so I think there's just a lot of babies out there from this guy.
Right.
So we got what we could, and we had 3 vials left when I started trying. So I jammed through the 3 vials left. Now's the time.
Now is the time.
Now's
I
the
feel
time
like.
to use it.
Do you know that joke?
What?
What's the difference between jam and jelly?
Oh boy.
What?
I can't jelly my dick up your grandma's ass.
I'm sorry.
God.
I'm so sorry.
Oh boy.
Sorry.
Oh boy.
One of those stupid jokes.
So anyway, went through that, and we've had with our friend who was a donor. He helped us during the time after we ran through the sperm we used to get Gus.
Yeah.
And so recently we had to go back to the sperm bank and find a new donor because after a few tries with our friend, we decided to have him tested. And we realized that there was some mobility issues and just stuff, and I just didn't feel like it was right to pull him into that process, and he would have to go on like a specific diet and take all these things, and even if we didn't get pregnant, it would just be weird.
Yeah.
So we decided, let's just normalize and go back to sperm bank. So we tried once, and this is like in November, and we get a call from Seattle Sperm Bank, and they're like, hey, you've been on the wait list for 2 years, and the donor from your son, your number's up, and you can buy a bunch of vials of sperm if you want. So Rachel's like, buy them all! Like, this is $10,000 of sperm you want me to buy.
Yeah.
And they were like, ma'am, you can only buy 4 vials. There are other people on the list.
Okay.
And
All
I was
right.
like, okay, fine, we'll take the 4. But just know, we would buy more. So, and I said, by the way, where did these vials come from? Because there's so many people on the wait list. And she said, oh, we actually found them. They were unlabeled in our store. So it's a little dicey. It could be a little dicey.
Wait. Unlabeled where? What did you?
They had them unlabeled in their storage unit. They basically lost them in their storage unit and then refound them.
And they told you that?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I just found this box of old photos from high school or whatever under the couch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had
Closet.
this visual of this freezer and this sperm that had dropped and fallen under some sort of cart or something.
It's actually like the janitor's sperm. He came in and jerked off and then left it in there.
I know this story.
Or he knocked some of them over and he's like, I'll just replenish it.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit. So they called us over Christmas. They called us like on Christmas Day. I swear. I mean, it was like insane because the first call was on Thanksgiving.
Oh wow!
It's
Yeah.
like,
They just wait for the
happening?
holidays. Yeah.
And they said, "Hey, just so you know, we've got a couple straws." And we're like, "What the fuck are straws?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "So fertility clinics or sperm banks, would use straws instead of vials before." And I was like, "Well, what's the difference?" Nothing. It's just like the delivery method.
Yeah,
Like,
just easier
so
to
I
drink
called
with
our
your soda.
midwife and said, "Is this a problem to get in?"
Yeah.
And she said no. So we bought a bunch of straws.
Cum straws. Sweet. So
I
when
like how you brought that.
So when I come to your
back.
house and I ask for a Diet Coke and I want a straw with it, I'm gonna be particular about which straw I get.
Yeah, you better check it out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Give
Well,
it a smell first.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that was this year.
That was just like a couple of months ago.
Right,
so
sure.
this next try, I'm trying on Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
And this will be the first try. I like to say with Gus's sperm.
Well, so you told me we were out to dinner the other night, and you said something along those lines, and I was like, I knew what you were saying, but I was like, they're not. No, I mean, they're not.
Wait a minute.
Wait. I was like, that's a closed loop. Like, you can't really. Yeah.
We know where to draw the line.
I was It's like, Portland is pretty open, but yeah.
Man, would that save us a lot of money?
Oh yeah, that little guy was just pumping out vials. Come on, little buddy.
But wait. So you are no longer going to this fertility clinic, correct?
Mm-hmm.
In order to do your IUIs. So what are you doing now?
Yeah, good question. So after having our friend come and jack off downstairs, we decided let's now kind of bring this to the most professional level we can without getting as clinical as we were.
Cool. Yeah.
So we now have a midwife team. I'll say it's.
You can shout them.
Yeah.
Coyote Midwifery.
Yes.
We're actually meeting with them on Tuesday.
Joni and Caitlin are awesome. I really love them. They feel like a team. They care about our well-being.
Yeah.
They are helping us make decisions. It's just totally what I want, and it's a complete different zone.
Yeah, that's so rad.
And do they come to your home in order to do the IUI? Is that how it works?
Yep. So
Cool.
we could go to them or they could come to us. So we opted for them to come to us. And I am on hormones again, but I'm on a different type of hormones, which doesn't make me feel crazy.
Yeah, that's great.
And how did you get those hormones? Were one of them able to prescribe it?
Joni is a RN, so she was able to prescribe them.
Okay.
That's so
And
cool.
It's super chill. It
Nice.
doesn't feel crazy.
That's awesome.
So they come to us and I'm having sales firm send us this big canister. In fact, they said, we're going to send you, I love it when people are proactive like this. We're going to send you the 14-day canister instead of the 7 because we're planning on getting a lot of snow. We want to make sure you can do this. It's like,
that's awesome.
We don't want it to be delayed.
Sure.
That's great. So they sent us the canister. It's like this nitrogen thing. You pull it out.
Yeah, like Back to
and
the Future
defrost
style.
it. They have me defrost it by putting it under my armpit.
Oh,
so it's
awesome.
very technical.
Yeah.
And then and Rachel is with them, helping to inseminate.
Cool.
And so their whole thing is they want you to sit and watch 4 rounds. And then if there's a way, Rachel could do it. That's great.
Okay, so then you could potentially take the show on the road. I mean, I guess you have to bring the nitrogen canister. Maybe not. Yeah. This is my check bag.
Yeah. So that's where we're at right now, and it's
Awesome.
kind of feeling like, okay, I feel like we've landed the plane, we've got the Gus sperm, we've got the good team.
Yes.
People who are helping us, we've got the good medication.
Sweet. Yeah, that's awesome.
All the things.
Cool.
Wow.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I can feel it.
Yeah. I'm doing a thing, I haven't shared this with Rachel, but on Monday, I'm going to someone to do a whole spiritual cleansing thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I think kind of leading up to insemination, anything you can do to just be in the zone.
Yeah.
Give yourself the space to, be there.
Yeah.
I mean, if for nothing else, I just want a little me time, a little break during this process.
Yes.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
And were you doing any of that when you were with the fertility clinic? Were you thinking on a more sort of spiritual level about cleansing and?
No, that has been kind of with me, for the last couple of months. I've been really wanting to do that.
Yeah.
Little side note, my business is growing like crazy, and so I think for me it's really been necessary to figure out how to compartmentalize and put the brakes on things. And I think for me, I've just been in such business growth mode that I just want to let that go and kind of just change my vibe a little bit.
Yeah, I dig that.
See if they can kind of cleanse out some of the anxiety stuff and get me into a little bit more grounded place.
I like that. It also feels like the place, so the big place that you're talking about is the place that we went to.
Yeah.
And it's pretty hard to see the kind of more spiritual part of it, because it's just not a very introspective place. I mean, it just feels very Beverly Hills clinical, shiny, all the things, whatever. I don't know. It just didn't vibe with me.
Yeah, I just felt like cattle being in there,
Right.
is what I felt
Right.
like. You
Right.
know, like they.
And really fucking old cattle.
Yeah.
Like put out the
Like
pasture cattle.
geriatric. Yeah.
Yeah. Just powdered milk.
But you know, the thing that Rachel and I were talking about, because they actually used to be a client of mine a long time ago,
Oh,
so I've
interesting.
known about them for a long time. And they're really big on their numbers.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
So I just kind of feel like for them, it was a gift that I stopped going to them because we've taken a while
That's
to get
right.
pregnant.
That's right.
And that's why they literally have not called me once since
Right.
the last time, you know, and I just think that what they want to do is they want to get in people and pump them up full of drugs and get them pregnant and get them out.
Yeah,
you
and
know,
get those
even
stats.
if it's like not the right way to go about
Yeah.
things.
Right.
We just paid for the things that we've done with them or whatever, and and we haven't heard anything from they basically were like, you need to go get this procedure done, you need to kind of get ready for us,
Yeah.
and we basically have not just decided to basically not go back.
Yeah.
But we haven't been, they didn't follow up to see how things were going or whatever. They're like, we're going to be your care team, we're going to be there for you. And I think it was kind of this, they're like, when you're ready to be successful for us,
Yeah,
we'll be down
totally.
for it.
Right.
Which is, and they were very sweet when we were there. They were fine. I don't want to shit
It
talk
is-
them, but it's different.
It is difficult though to cut to, and you alluded to this, to be in a place where you're already feeling vulnerable,
Yeah.
and for them to not only confirm that, but sort of take it a step further by saying, "Ooh, sister, here's your stats, and it's not good.
Yeah.
So like, you gotta walk out. You gotta plop this Clomid right now."
Yeah.
And it felt so urgent,
Yeah.
and I was just like a clam in there, you know.
Yeah, totally.
And so
It's interesting to look back and think, who is this set up for? I mean, we had a successful pregnancy through that.
totally.
You know, and I think that's the thing. If you are young
Yeah.
and you, like in our case, you're a gay couple that just doesn't have access to sperm,
Right.
then they're
We
like,
gotcha.
this is our ideal person.
Yeah.
Right? But if you're like older or like you're having trouble conceiving, it's just like, I feel like their bedside manner is really poor.
Yeah.
I think we also talked about in a lot of our conversations, the dialogue with the doctor was so fast
Right.
that it made me feel really anxious and made me feel like I couldn't ask the questions I wanted to ask.
Yeah, I'm with that. I get that.
And it was like everything she was telling me was feeling really shitty, so it was also kind of like I didn't want to get
Right.
more.
You don't want to scratch the surface. Like.
That's right.
So, like, should I have my walker ready, like, now?
Yeah,
Or, like,
yeah.
Where are you guys at with where are you at?
So,
Didn't expect her to flip it on
I
us.
know. Well, so we're basically like Rinne had the procedure about a month ago, and had to take a month off from trying basically to heal, to have the polyps removed,
Yep.
and then we're kind of back on the horse now.
How are you feeling and how did the procedure go? And
The procedure was, it was like a success at the end of the day, but
Yeah.
it was actually far more intense than I thought. So I sought someone out that would do it in office,
yeah.
and so I didn't go under for the surgery. So I
Yeah.
was pretty fully lucid.
Yeah.
Once they started the surgery, she gave me this like benzodiazepine that made me nice and super loopy, and then as soon as she turned on that machine, I was like, bing, okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
And so,
Oh my God. What did the machine sound like?
Well, it's
like a quiet weed whacker.
yeah. I mean, the machine. It's the thing that was actually. Oh yeah. I mean, the thing that was inside of her was basically this spinning blade of death. That kind of was like a cylinder that rotated with like kind of like, it almost looked like a cheese grater kind of, and then it had a vacuum attached to it. So it sounded kind of like a small version of what you can picture that would sound like.
Everything you're
It was like-
saying just sounds horrifying.
And
We
so
have
painful.
a video of it
Cheese
if you
grater.
would like to see.
Yeah,
It's
there's a video.
really intense.
Yeah, of the screen, so you can
Yeah.
see like what it looks like.
Because they send a little camera up there.
Yeah, so you can see
obviously,
the inside of her uterus getting cleaned out.
Oh, cool.
Pretty fun. We'll put it up on
Cool,
Instagram.
great.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, and you can hear the thing about it for me was that Corinne has like a pretty high pain tolerance, and like we've been together when she's had things happen and like injuries and stuff, and she's like all good. And this was the first time that I've seen her like wince and like God, I was like so protective of her.
Having surgeries like that where, so I had it, and I talked to you guys about this, I had like a thing cauterized on my cervix just to prevent like cervical cancer. And it's a different feeling than anything. Like being like cut or breaking a bone, which I've never broken. It's like, it feels topical. It feels on the surface.
Yeah.
When like that is happening, it is in your body and it is crazy.
In the most intimate area.
Right.
It's just a different, it's hard to explain, but it's such a different kind of pain.
Yeah. I mean,
and from a sort of spiritual kind of woo-woo level too, I think it's, you know, this is your womb. This is like what's, you know, we're meant to birth things from here, and what was happening is like something was being weed whacked and sucked out. It just felt so away. Like weird alternate universe-y.
God, I can't even imagine. And
but
the sound.
Yeah, the sound was really
It was
weird.
a lot. Well, and then the place we went to, which it's right next to where you were for the dye test, so it's in that same little plaza. She's wonderful.
Gem too. Oh, the dye doctor. No.
Well, I actually loved her
The dye
too.
test gal was awesome.
Oh, she was so cool.
She's like one of the coolest doctors I've ever
I'm like so biz. I love it.
When she felt like kind of like, I don't know, just like, well, so I wanted to see, during the dye test, I wanted to see her cervix, and I wanted to see all that stuff. So I was like, can I come down where you are? And she was like, oh yeah. And so she was totally down for it. And she felt like she felt like the aunt who's into cool artwork and like introduces you to Coltrane and then has like funky jewelry and glasses. Yeah. I was like, fuck yeah.
I totally can picture this woman.
Oh yeah. It was, but the place where she had the procedure done, they were wonderful and very professional. But during the procedure, like she has an IV, you know, that's there was an IV bag. They were using the saline fluid through the machine, through the wand, so that it would keep it lubricated. And the way that they were getting the liquid out of the bag was they had like a blood pressure cuff wrapped around it, and she was just squeezing it, and it was squeezing the bag. But then it started to like pop out of the top like a wet hot dog or something. And so she just undid that shit and just was fucking squeezing it by hand. And so it's like in the background you can hear her like grunting, and the sound of the bag squeezing. I don't know. It was, and there's fucking saline spraying everywhere. The floor was so wet, and I was just a little bit like, I mean, this is all good, right? We're all good here. They're like mopping. I was like, okay.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But they didn't lose anything.
I mean, just the polyps.
There was a fob from the...
Pulling out some mop.
Is that my car key in there? Yeah. Oh, sorry about that.
How about you? How are you feeling at this point in your... I don't want to call it journey. It sounds like I'm implying that it's laborious or something. Mm-hmm. For some people, I don't think that it is. Mm-hmm. So...
Yeah, I mean, I think the main, and this is kind of fresh off the press, because Rachel and I literally had this conversation last night, because we've been kind of avoiding the talk of like, okay, well, we know we have this many vials of the Gus sperm. Mm-hmm. How do we want to deal with this? Because we really do like the idea of both of our kids having a genetic connection.
Yeah, that's intense.
You know, and so... For me, you know, the thing that I told Rachel is the same thing that I mentioned to you guys, which is like the idea of not trying feels sad to me, and so we really are trying to just like focus on each time. You know, let's hope that this next time is the right thing. But I think that the piece that is feeling old to me, that is just wearing on me, is just the process. Like I'm sick of taking all of the stuff. I'm taking thyroid medicine. I'm taking, you know, the stuff for my fertility. And it affects me. I can feel it affecting me. And I just don't want to take shit. So that's thing number one. And thing number two is like, I I really want to like be training for a half marathon, and I really want to be doing like some intense exercise.
Yeah.
And I've been told like you just pretty much try to chill out on the workout.
Right.
You know, like get your workout in every day, but like focus on elliptical and walking and light running and stuff. And so for me, I just a little bit feel. I feel a lot of empathy for people who've been on this road for a long time. My friend Liza, she was in this process for 7 years.
Right.
And now she has 3 boys.
Yeah.
But it's just like, holy shit. I cannot imagine doing this for 7 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
really?
we're not.
Right.
But yeah, so for me, it's like I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling psyched about this next try, or this next couple tries, because I just feel like we've all the boxes are checked.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
But long term, it's like, yeah, we got to figure this out. We're also like trying to do other things in our life right now, like buying a house. So Rachel works at my company.
Yeah.
And so I think for us, we just are ready to be on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Check that box.
Yeah.
You got it.
Isn't it funny? Like, check that box. Just like
It takes on another turn.
That's just like a little pun.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
Just check that box.
Yeah, check the box.
Yeah, your box. How's your box?
My box
Yeah.
checked.
Yeah. Just straw that box.
Yeah.
Carrie, you are just magic. I really appreciate you coming on the show and just being so, just being so open and funny. Can't wait for your improv class.
Oh my God, we're gonna fucking slay.
Yeah,
all
truly.
that.
You gotta do something
Watch
with the
out.
straw.
Watch out.
The straws. Cum straws.
I really should start writing down the funny stuff. I mean, just today alone, like so much funny shit out there. If you're paying attention, I gotta tell these guys, like, a huge fucking. So this person walked in front of our house with a huge fucking raccoon on their shoulder. Like a normal
actual raccoon.
couple was walking in front of our house with a huge live raccoon on their shoulder.
Yeah.
Amazing.
This has nothing to do with the cum straws, by the way.
Yeah.
Or the pregnancy.
There's
So we got some
fun
raccoon
stuff out
sperm.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we live in a funny town anyways. I think like Portland's just quirky enough that it's like there's a lot of things that I see every day that I'm like, that's awesome and needs to be told.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
We've got this.
And I think that's the thing that feels really exciting about the improv class. It's like the need and right to jot down all the funny shit that you see, because there's like an activity behind it.
Yes.
And I love the idea of having a little joke notebook.
Yeah.
And just writing down like little prompts.
I mean, you guys are so cute.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys. I love you so much. You're my favorite
We're gonna
people.
motivate
You're
you.
my BSS.
BSS. Big salty sister. Come on, baby.
Will you humor us and finish out this segment with your 5 favorites, which we're gonna list off to you, and you'll just kind of rapid fire.
We've gotten their
your
questions.
5 favorite things.
Yeah. Oh, you've got the questions.
Yes,
We've got questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
5
We do-
favorite anything.
No. Yeah. You're like, oh fuck. No, this is like our rapid fire thing we do with every interviewee.
Okay.
So I got. Do you think we should do 4 and skip that first question we normally ask?
Great.
I kinda
don't know
hate
which
that
way
first
you're
question.
skipping.
You don't have to ask it, but what is it?
Well, okay. So we normally the 5. Well, first question is usually what was your last positive experience with a healthcare practitioner?
Oh.
Because sometimes the stories that we're hearing from people are like it's all bad stories and negative stuff or whatever. So we want to end on like a palate cleanser. Like, oh my gosh, I had this amazing OB appointment, da 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 da. But I don't know, that the question is it's being a little lumpy. Can we keep it in?
I'm still interested.
Okay, yeah. What was your last positive experience
It's
with
boring, but it happened today. I had my blood drawn because I want to see if I still have a thyroid issue.
Yeah.
And the woman was like, did the regular thing, pulled out my sleeve, and da-da-da. I didn't feel anything. And she's like, you're on your way, sister.
Yes!
Great.
I love it when you could get in and
Hell
get
yeah.
out. No one wants to be in the hospital.
Yes.
Get me out of here. She was just cool as fuck and just
Phlebotomist.
Well, I was gonna say there's something
Yeah.
unique about a phlebotomist. Like
Yeah.
they're often fucking cool.
Yeah.
I just with it.
Cool and efficient.
Totally.
Because they gotta be.
Yeah.
I didn't feel, and it was like the first time I had my blood drawn where it's like I literally did not feel
Yeah.
anything.
God,
So
that's beautiful.
I have not had that experience.
That's
lately.
beautiful.
I've had a couple searching for the vein moments, or like the last time I did it, it was the dude's first time ever, and he was unassisted. There was nobody helping him, and he was shaking and sweating. I was like, bruh. And I let him ram it in me. I was like, all right. And it was like not, it didn't hit a single vein. And then the other guy came in and was like, boop, 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 and did it in 2 seconds. But there was like, it was bruised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, you don't want that guy.
Okay, next question, you.
Your favorite swear word?
I don't know. Fuck. I mean.
Tried and true.
Yeah.
I liked how.
Classic.
I liked the deep sigh.
Well, you know, I don't actually. It might be asshole,
Ooh,
just
yeah.
because I feel like asshole isn't even really a swear word, and I feel like I can call myself an asshole all the time. Like we use it all the time in our household.
Yeah.
So that might actually be my favorite because it doesn't
pretty
feel
good.
flinchy.
Right.
You know, like saying
Asshole.
fuck is like cool, but even saying it, I feel kind of like fuck. You know,
Yeah.
like, it's only very few where I'm like.
Yeah.
You know, whereas asshole, it's just like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll
You call your
it off.
kids.
No, I'm with
Right
that.
there, it's asshole.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, favorite 90s R&B makeout song? Or just makeout song in general?
90s R&B makeouts.
Doesn't have to
No.
be R&B.
No, just
90s
90s
makeout song. Mine are just all R&B.
Ours are R&B.
Yeah.
Yours doesn't have to be.
What are yours?
Oh god, I don't know if I, well I mean
Mine
Joe
is
song.
Jodeci Feenin'. Do you remember that song?
No.
Maybe not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great song.
Great song.
And mine was
Super
probably
sexy.
112. Like Cupid. Yeah. One of the, they're from Bad Boy.
Sexy song.
Well, yeah, but it led to some shit. It had a beat to it, so you could kind of dry hump to it.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yep.
Man, I've got some dead air here.
We can come back to it.
I gotta think about
Yeah,
it.
you
for a
think on it.
minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next up.
Next up is.
If you
Oh,
said hip hop, I would fire them off.
Oh.
But like make out song, like I just don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Could be a hip hop makeout song.
All right, I'll come back.
Okay.
Okay. How about how about a 2020 candidate that you're gunning for?
I mean, it's just got to be Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey.
Oh.
No. Obviously.
She
she's
feels
Biden.
differently.
She's
like
Biden all the way.
All the way.
Well,
she's a
I
fucking
mean,
Bernie
no,
girl.
she's
can
a-
we,
she's
yeah,
a
can
Trump
we
supporter.
talk about this? I want Bernie all day. I want
Sure.
Bernie
Bernie's
all
great.
day.
Sure.
It's the only reason it's Elizabeth Warren is because it has to be.
Yeah.
You know, like that's where we're at, and it sucks. Like everything Bernie says, I'm on board with. I love listening to what he has to say.
Yeah. He's very consistent.
Everything's on point.
Yeah.
But you know, if we want actually a candidate to win, right now it's Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah. And I think I like Elizabeth Warren. I'm on board with her.
I like her a lot too. I just, you know, I really enjoy Bernie.
Yeah, which I get, but he's gonna die in office. It's too old. We've been talking about ageism this whole time on the show, but I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Not that she's that much younger,
Yeah.
but she feels younger. I don't know what it is. And we just need a woman president, female president. As a fucking palate cleanser after Trump. And I feel like Warren can bring in moderates as well as far lefties, and yeah, I think she'd be good. Yeah.
What's your missing?
Well, what's your go-to stress food? Like,
Yes. What's your
eat your feeling snack?
snack?
Ice cream.
Oh yeah, solid.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I mean, cookies are great too, but ice cream's like the thing that just really brings me pure joy.
And you can take cookies and ram them into
Ooh, you
chocolate
can,
and ice
like
cream as
a
well.
sandwich.
I also feel like with ice cream, I can have a little bit more self-control. With cookies, like if
Oh, yeah.
there's we can't buy cookies
No.
because I will just house them.
Have you had that old-fashioned cookie dough that they sell at New Seasons? And it's just cookie dough, but it has no eggs in it, so you can just eat it by the spoonful.
No.
Oh, don't! It's
Yeah, don't
so
ever.
good.
Right.
And I will literally eat it 5 tablespoons at a
You
time.
jam it in.
Ram it home. Yeah, and I gotta give it to it. Yeah. Do you got that song?
I know
Okay.
what album it's on, but I don't.
Oh,
know.
you just don't remember the?
Yeah, it's on
band.
the Boomerang. Do you remember?
Oh yeah,
the
Boomerang soundtrack. Yep.
It's on Boomerang soundtrack.
Okay. I remember there's a Tribe Called Quest song on there. What else is on there? There's an I'll Be Sure song. Ooh,
You know what? We're gonna find
We'll
it
find
and
it.
link to it.
We'll find it and link
Because
to the
I
video.
am
Yeah. I mean, my phone's
desperate
right
to
there.
know what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all good.
Yeah.
This was really fun.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I love you both so much.
Here's to our burgeoning comedy careers.
Yeah.
Yes.
And burgeoning babies.
And baby making.
Baby
Yeah.
making.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I know. Let's do it.
2020.
2020. It's all 2020. Babies aplenty.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, you guys. Again, Mikey and Rinne stay in on the tweets and on Instagram. Let's eat at mikeyandrinnestayin.com. You can send us your questions and happy fun times, thoughts. Find us on all your podcatchers. Anything else?
Give us a review if you're digging us.
Give us some
we'd
fucking
love-
5-star reviews. Give us some 7-star reviews.
Yeah,
if
why
you
not?
Get your shit together.
Why not?
So thanks, you guys. I'm Mikey.
And I'm Rinne.
And tonight, we're gonna stay.
I like how you.
I was telling myself to shut up and go at the same time. Love you.